Okay, let's start on the left side. Please look to the left side, observe to the left side. Okay, then the middle, please.
Center, yes. No, here.
And the same thing for the colleagues on the right, please. Over here.
Hello. Please.
Okay. So thank you very much. We'll now do Aki and the two main actors. Thank you.
Just here, right side, right side. Right side. That's it, that's good. You have to look here.
Okay. Aki, we'll do Aki again at the last, and we'll do the actors now. Wait with me.
In the bath.
No. You're missing.
Sorry. Could you please turn to the right side? Yes, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, please. Now, please.
Okay, vielen Dank.
Yes.
Back to work. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
And Aki?
As you should.
Yes.
You don't tell me, you tell me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome to today's Berlinale press conferences. And without further ado, we start off with a film that reveals one of the festival's salient topics in its title, The Other Side of Hope by Haji Kaurismäki. A number of films this year refer to dreams, private utopian visions nurtured by very common folks. In this case, two stories run in parallel. On the one hand, there's a Syrian refugee making his way illegally through Finland, and on the other, a necktie vendor who abandons his daily routine, buys a bar, and that is the point at which both stories converge. By mentioning hope, this doesn't necessarily imply a happy ending, but it does point to a utopian concept of a possible, peaceful coexistence, as presented in this film by Haji Kaurismäki. And now to the press conference.
Mikäs mies sinä olet?
I live here. This is my bedroom.
No way. This is my garbage field.
Says who?
Say I.
Do you want to fight?
But I'm bigger.
So what?
Surkea tarina, Kalella. Mitäs sille tehdään?
Kadulla tuo ei kauan noilla raameilla pärjää.
Minut se pääsi yllättämään. Putosi kuitenkin. Wanna work, Kale?
Yes, very much.
Good morning. Dear photographers, please sit down. Warm welcome to everybody to the press conference of the Finnish-German competition entry, Toivon, tuolla, puolen, by Haji Kaurismäki. I'm very happy to introduce you the panel. To my far right, Sherwan Haji, actor. next to him, as you might know, the director and scriptwriter, Aki Kaurismäki. Next to me, Sakari Kuosmanen, actor. Aki, vielen Dank, Kitos, thank you so much for this cinematic masterpiece, which is very contemporary, very emotionally and amazingly done, and especially welcome back to Berlin. After being 9 times in Forum, you're for the first time in competition. Today's Valentine's Day, the Berlinale really loves you, and thank you so much for being with us. Kitos. Aki, it's your second film in a planned trilogy about port
my
cities.
wife, who likes sweets. What were you saying?
I was asking you that it's your second film in a planned trilogy about port cities. After Le Havre, you stranded, and your hero stranded in Helsinki. Could you tell us something how you started developing and writing this project?
Since I'm basically automatically absolutely lazy, I have to make a trilogy always to do something. I couldn't cutting wood, and that's all. But then it suddenly came, turned from a harbor trilogy to refugee trilogy. And I'd like to change the name. It's not a harbor trilogy anymore. Now it's a refugee trilogy. And I hope the third one will be a happy comedy.
Here, Mr. Kaurismäki, wonderful, wonderful film. Could you tell us a few words about the soundtrack?
Very normal, some dialogue and then music over it. And if it's simply winding, sound of wind. But you should ask more from my soundman, Tero Malmberg.
Aki Kaurismäki, one question, please. You said something like you want to change the audience point of view, perspective about refugees. What are your hopes for this film? What do you want to achieve with it?
I was very modest. I didn't want to change the audience. I wanted to change the world. But my manipulative abilities are not good enough. So I think that I have to limit it to change Europe, which is a tiny place as we slowly start to see. First I change Europe, then we go to Asia.
My name is Mahari Segid, African Refugee News. Thank you for this beautiful breakfast. I like the way you divided your film, the normal life and the refugee problem. And it was nice that you showed up this television news telling that there was a war, and the other side said you can go home, because it happens really every day. The question is, when you made this film, did you really wanted to change the mind of the Finnish people, or let's say the right-wing parties that are coming up in Europe, to tell them these are people, they want to work, they want to live, and if we give them the chance, maybe they will teach us something, like your restaurant, multicultural restaurant?
We come back to this restaurant question later. Yeah, of course, everybody has to have dreams. I have a dream. And first I want to change the minds of Finnish people, which might or might not succeed. But when suddenly to Finland, which is 5 million people country, came 30,000 young Iraqians, the young Finnish and older Finnish men took it as a war. Somebody's attacking us like Russia 50, 60 years ago. And the attitude for the refugees was intolerable, in my opinion. That they will steal my new car or something, or the wax where I polish my car, or at least the brush with which I used to wax to polish my car. But anyways, there's still something. And some bombs were thrown, and I certainly didn't like to see that kind of attitude in my compatriots. But what was the question of the restaurants? It interests me more. So of course, Jean Renoir said with Grand Illusion that he tried to stop the Second World War. Later he said it was a lousy failure, I couldn't stop it. Cinema doesn't have such influence, but my honest try in this is to force the 3 people who go to see this film that we are all same, we are all human, and tomorrow it will be you who will be a refugee. Today it's him or her.
My name is Elena Ringo. I'm from Vienna, Austria. And first of all, I would like to say thank you to Aki Kaurismäki for his films, which I think reflect very well the atmosphere of Finland, where I lived myself for some years. And after some years, my idea was how to escape from this depressive and bleak country. And my question is, what do you think, Mr. Kaurismäki, about Islamization of Europe?
Can you repeat the last sentence?
Islamization of Europe.
Islamization.
Islamization, yes. I mean that...
because Iceland is a bit good in football once, it doesn't mean that it's an Islamization of Europe. It was okay, but it was 8 in the World Championship. It doesn't mean that Iceland will conquer Europe. But I don't know who wrote that thing once after the Second World War. When they took my neighbor, I didn't say a word. When they took my cousin, I didn't say a word. When they took my mother, I didn't say a word. And when they took me, there was nobody to say anything because I was the last one. Some, maybe Stefan Zweig, but so I can't see any Islamization in Europe. It's normal cultural changing, which we need because our blood is getting thick. Let's go back to Sevilla in 1590, total peace with all the religions and everything. Business went well for everybody, and suddenly Isabella II and Philip I decided that we have to get them out, and we rush everybody out. So, in my opinion, if you use a beret basque or chapeau, if you use a cylinder, it should be okay for everybody. We can make laws to hide the crimes we made behind the laws.
Hello, Mr. Kaurismäki. I have artistic question and social question. Artistic, what is your method of work with actors? What do you want from them? Not only this film, but usually your usual method. And social question, it's not the first film, your movie about refugees, about immigrants. Why this subject so important for you? Thank you.
So if I understood right, the question was divided to two, no? From actors, I just don't want to move them too much and not shake their hands like windmills. And of course, I choose them because for the reason of their handsome faces. And skill of acting. I buy a beer later.
Hello.
Actors should act, and camera is the enemy or friend. If you can act, it's a friend. If you can't, it's an enemy. But I lost the second part of the question. Because it's crime against Europe's, well, to look at the last century, we don't have any culture of humanity, but basically during the centuries, Europe almost started to be a corner of Europe with all the crimes and all this. It had some kind of democratic organization, and now it's falling in 10 years in pieces because we are no good. Because our culture is just 1 millimeter of dust in our shoulders. In this sense, I respect Mrs. Merkel to be the only politician who seems to be at least interested of the problem. All the rest play their games. This was not a political statement.
Hello, Susanne Gottlieb, Uncut Austria. First of all, thank you for this film. I really enjoyed that it dealt with refugees in a way where it's not taking this bait of moralizing it, but people just help them without questions asked because it's the right thing to do. I really like that, so thank you for that. And my question is, for me the film was a lot about assuming identities. Like you have Khaled who has to pretend to be happy and who has to change his name in order to gain something, his refugee status. Then you have Wikström who has to assume the identity of a restaurant owner in order to find his peace. And also you have the restaurant that keeps assuming identity of different cultures in order to make a profit. Can you comment a bit about assuming identities in this movie and how it leads somewhere?
I totally understand the question, but I continue the last answer, which is the normal habit in these cases. But I'd like to continue a bit the mental status of Europe, which had 60 years ago we had 60 million refugees as we do today. And suddenly then we helped them and now they are enemies. So where the hell is our humanity? Because if we don't have humanity for a friend, we as well couldn't exist. Or we even shouldn't exist. If we are not humans, who the hell are we then? But this was not the answer for a question, I guess.
I have a question.
I made a rock and roll documentary in 1981 and I lost almost both ears. I was 2 meters from the... So it's better you ask something from these guys. They might even know the answer.
What? No.
Do you want to hear a part of a Finnish tango solo? Siksi I'm surunen siihen vaan.
This situation is that what I've been afraid for all my my time in Berlin. Finnish tango.
Siksi I'm surunen.
Joka päivä mä aamusta iltaan käyn, kuin ottaen ihmettä vaan. Ja mä pilvien partailta onneni näyn, yhä uutena luokseni saan. Alla onnen riemuportin kauan kanssas olla koetin, rakkaani mun ystäväin. Siksi on mä suruinen, kun sua mä muistelen. Niin paljon meni kanssasi kaunista pois. Siksi on mä suruinen, kun päivä huominen niin toisenlainen mulle olla nyt vois. Ne kulkevat unikuvin edessäin vieläkin. Ne hetket mi kerran yhdessä vietettiin. Siksi on mä suruinen, kun sua mä muistelen. Niin paljon meni kanssas kaunista pois.
This tradition comes one early morning, almost 20 years ago, in the famous, fabulous, and forever living in our memories, Arsenal Kino. And the screenings were always 9 o'clock in the morning, and Saku was the main character of the silent movie called Juha, and then somebody asked after screening that, is it a dirty lie that you have tango in Finland? And Saku was behind me and said, gave him a microphone and said, this one. Of course he made it.
If I try to answer that question,
I'll take it as an answer, it's fine.
I have to answer. As you see, this works what we do here. This is Aki's movie. This is Aki's movie, and Aki. 32 years ago, we started make films together, and I'm very happy to be here. It's very nice to be with Sherwan and others. Give your hands to others. How many of you have seen this film already? Oh, nearly 100%.
And how many bought the ticket?
Hey, you. Hey, you are happy. You are
Producing
happy.
me talking.
You are happy people because you have already seen a direct cut version. Congrats yourself.
2 minutes ago I was very, very angry, and then you sang this song. I didn't understand the words, but because I want to tell this lady about Islamization. Before yesterday, she made another question that was terrible for the director. She asked Raoul Peck, how can you make a film about Marx? Because he's black, he's a black, he comes from, and today she's talking about, if she has a problem about racism, it's better she goes to Alaska. We don't need her here. I'll tell her frankly. Now I go to the actors. After the film, how was your relation? Because I love to know if you know him before or during the film starts a new friendship to know about his country, about his life, because this is very, very important.
Question for me or
Sherwan?
For me, the question.
Actors.
I will first tell my relationship to the actors. Him I met in 1981 in the top of a steamship in local Mississippi, and there was 70 people in the ship. Only him and I were standing up. They might have a bottle with us, but it's a rumor. And as he says, I said that since you stand alcohol so well, I have to write your role. And I did, I think 9 roles. And with Sherwan and Simon, I was just lucky.
Thank you.
With you, I had a miserable experience, of course, but with the others, I was lucky.
To be honest, I didn't catch the question properly. Could you please repeat the question?
I said actors work together. Mm-hmm. He comes from another culture, and you come from Iraq, from Syria.
Yes.
So you speak Arabic, and he is from Finland. What happens after the film is finished? Do you create a new friendship? Because the film talks about also friendship, right, and understanding. So I just wanted to know about you two, how it ended.
Okay, again, 2 questions. The first part, concerning the first part, personally, I think it doesn't matter where do you come from to act and to work with other actors. It's like football. You can be from China, you can be from Brazil, you can be from Germany and from Syria, you can play together. Style is different, of course, everyone has his own way and methods and ways that he gathered and ways that he thinks is right. But for me, it was like a very special occasion and very big opportunity as well to work with Aki. And I knew Aki before I even moved to Finland. And I was lucky to work with him, of course. And it was very beautiful because, not just because he's here, but he's a real artist and he understands how actors really feel. Basically, he just gives the space for all the actors to bring in what they think is right for the project as well. And that was like a very great thing. Concerning the friendship, yes, I had friends in Finland and now I have more.
Last question, letzte Frage.
To Mr. Kaurismäki, the film is called The Other Side of Hope. Why did you choose this title and how? Is there a specific reason? What do you mean?
Well, I never meant anything in my life. But I had the working title called The Refugee, which is very clear title, but it's not very poetic. And then the husband of my 30 years long assistant, my mother, I would say, her husband found somewhere in a 2,000 years old Greek poem who said the other side of hope, in the other side of hope, but for English I changed it. It changes a bit in Finnish and to German to English, the meaning, 3 meanings, and I thought, okay, let's try it. And then I was too lazy to make it, change it to Hitchcock style, like The Saboteur.
Kiitos, thank you very much. Vielen, vielen Dank. Aki Kaurismäki, The Other Side of Hope. Thank you for being in Berlin.
Auch sehr kurz.